Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart and welcome to our final look at the Chainsawman series on the last Thursday of December. Today we are looking at the Chainsawman himself, or rather the man currently in a... and that is Denji. When he was a child, Denji's father was deep in debt with the Yakuza. In order to escape this debt, Denji's father committed suicide. However, unfortunately, since they're dealing with literal gangsters and criminals, they force his only surviving son to pay off his debt or they would collect his corpse as devil food. Shortly after receiving this ultimatum, he came across an injured dog creature that Denji realized was the devil at death's door. Denji quickly made a contract with this creature, named it Pochita, and they began hunting devils and selling their corpses to pay off the Yakuza. Fast forward several years and Denji begins the series in a really sad state. He's resorted to selling his body parts, like his eye, his kidney, or worst of all, one of his balls, which, man, that's rough, buddy. Denji has currently gone through life in some of the worst circumstances possible. To him, the perfect day is just trying jam on bread, but he still goes through life with surprisingly chipper attitude, and he's just a dude trying to get by with his pet dog. It's a bit of a theme with this series, but the author, Tatsuki Fujimoto, has stated that this series is about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and currently Denji is at the bottom, just happily fulfilling the basics of the basics. In fact, one of his dreams is just to have sex with a pretty girl, which, relatable. He's basically just a healthy 17-year-old boy. There's nothing wrong with that. Denji begins at true neutral. Also, I don't know what it is, but Chainsawman just unlocks this visceral teenage testosterone deep in my brain. Every time I see Chainsawman on screen, I just pop off a little, and unfortunately, or fortunately, he just gets an automatic nat 20 fight because... let's face it, he has chainsaws for a face and for his hands. I actually don't need to justify this. We'll talk about some controversial Nat 20 scenes I'll label later, but, you know, that's for later. But with all that out of the way, let's go.
Cough up the tits. Those are mine.
Why did you save me?
Yeah, this thing's gotta be the tomato devil, sir.
At the beginning of episode 1, Denji and Pochita are working for the Yakuza as devil hunters. Denji also sells off parts of his body to pay his debt as well as doing some small tricks for their amusement, like eating cigarettes. He's not treated well, but since he doesn't really have a frame of reference, he's relatively happy. True neutral.
You're as loyal and obedient as a dog. And to top it off, you work for cheap treats like one as well. Only problem with dogs is I can never tolerate the stench.
After a day of hard work, Denji is barely able to afford even a slice of bread for dinner that he shares with Pochita. Later that night, he is brought to a warehouse for what he believes is a job. After being ambushed by the zombie devil and his Yakuza ghouls, both he and Pochita are tossed into a dumpster where Pochita makes a contract with him. Pochita will resurrect him and give him the strength of a powerful devil so long as he gets to watch Denji live his dream and have a full life. Denji agrees, not fully aware of what is happening, and is resurrected. Brought back to life, the zombie devil jumps him but is now fully unaware that Denji does in fact have that dog in him and becomes the Chainsaw Man. Annihilating the zombie devil and his minions, along with coming to the warehouse for a job, I'm gonna go with lawful neutral.
Hell, I even liked her a little. Who knew she'd turn out to be so scary? Treating me like a damn dog of all things.
After the Yakuza and the devil are dealt with, Denji is on the verge of collapse when Makima arrives at his location. She was going to take care of the creature herself, but is impressed with Denji's work. She gives him an ultimatum: be her pet or die as a devil. He accepts, becoming part of the Public Safety Special Forces devil hunting unit. Denji then spends the day basically in a daze, barely able to function outside of flirt with Makima on occasion. In the manga, he does run off and kill another devil on her orders, but I think this was removed in the anime. I don't remember. Lawful neutral.
People who don't knuckle down and wise up to this job die. Every associate I've met that got into devil hunting for the paycheck is pushing up daisies now. And that's not an exaggeration.
Later, Makima gives Denji a proper uniform and assigns him to patrol with Aki, who immediately takes him to an alley and beats him for simping over Makima. Denji retaliates by repeatedly caterwalloping Aki and the cobblers. I'm all for self-defense, but Denji repeatedly breaks bro code protocol here by repeatedly souring Aki's poor grapes with the business end of his shoes, and then lying to Makima about it. He gets a one-time pass with chaotic neutral, but that should be the end of his testicle tenderizing tendencies.
And the business. We call this foreshadowing.
Why didn't you transform into a devil?
When I kill things with my powers, it's messed up. Like super cruel. And I was thinking, yikes. How stupidly close was I to ending up like Beetleface over here?
The following day, Denji and Aki respond to a call about a fiend. They arrive, and despite Aki's insistence, Denji gives it a quick death, explaining the sympathy that he has for certain devils. Aki is appalled by this, but fun fact, Denji did not care at all about that devil, and instead was just trying to create as little mess as possible so that he could collect the porn magazines that he stole from the crime scene. Based and chaotic neutral pilled.
A fiend devil hunter's gotta be breaking some kind of rule!
Returning to Hunter HQ with Aki, Denji is assigned a new partner, Best Girl Power, a devil hunter who happens to be a fiend. If you want to know more about her, watch the Power video that I posted 2 weeks ago. She has a very erratic personality, and Denji is only putting up with her because he hopes that one day he'll be able to touch her boobs. Welcome to this work environment. True neutral.
Since you find the prospect of groping breasts intriguing, I'll let you touch mine as a reward for saving Meowie.
In the beginning of episode 3, after getting chewed out by Makima for killing the wrong devil, Denji and Power bond over their relationship with their pets. They then strike a deal. If Denji saves Power's stolen cat, he gets to pet her sweater kitties. Denji immediately agrees to this deal, drops everything to do so, and god damn it, I love this kid. Lawful neutral.
Meowie.
Denji and Power travel to a farmhouse to get rid of the devil that stole Power's cat. However, she knocks him out and uses him as collateral in exchange for her cat. After the devil drinks Denji's blood, it refuses to uphold its end of the bargain. The devil then eats Power and her cat. There is a lewd joke in there somewhere, and while I'm too classy to say it out loud, I am not classy enough not to address it and plant that seed into your mind. Denji, channeling his teenage hormones and fueled by the dreams of touching breasts, goes apeshit on the devil. Denji defeats it, saving Power and her cat. Normally I'd give this a lawful neutral since this is a part of his Quim quest, but Denji did go out of his way to save an innocent bystander, Power, and her pet. So I'm actually going to give this a well-deserved squeeze of lawful good.
You're the one who killed Batty, right? Just when I finally managed to track down my man, I find him cut open by a shrimp!
Right before Denji is about to grasp his prize, another devil appears, and just before this new foe is about to eat him, Aki appears and comes to their rescue with the fox devil. Later, Denji is recovering in the hospital from his battle wounds, and he promises Aki that he'll be more considerate of his orders, since none of this would have happened if he and Power just did what they were supposed to. Lawful neutral.
So, I finally got a hold of this long-time dream I've been chasing, right? But once it was sitting in the palm of my hand, it was way less life-changing than I thought it'd be.
Returning home after his hospital stay, Power is sent to live with Aki and Denji, which causes some living issues. Power does make good on her promise, though. This leads Denji to learn one thing that every motivation guru preaches.
Am I just gonna realize I was happier chasing the thing than actually having it?
Denji vents about this whole thing to Makima, which leads to a shockingly sexy scene of Makima demonstrating that it's emotional fulfillment that gives physical contact its satisfaction, not just boob squeezing. As she does this, Makima assigns Denji the mission of taking down the gun devil. She promises that she'll fulfill any wish that Denji desires if he succeeds. Any wish. Like Brinner.
You look absolutely amazing. It's kind of hard to beat Brenner.
In order to confront the actual gun devil, they need to gather pieces of it first. Once they have enough parts, it'll lead them to the rest of the body. Denji, Power, and Aki, and the rest of Special Division 4, head to a devil sighting in a hotel where they believe they'll get another piece of it. While Denji is down to help out, mostly because he was bribed with more physical gratification from Himeno, he and Power are still as annoying as ever, ticking off Aki for amusement. Lawful neutral for helping out with a very dangerous situation for physical gratification, and then chaotic neutral for making the mission worse for everyone around them.
I'm thinking of ways to win the Nobel Prize in order to battle my boredom. For once I have earned such glorious esteem, all you humans will kowtow to me.
In episode 6, Special Forces 4 gets stuck in the hotel with the Infinity Devil. While the whole force is losing their cool, Denji and Power are finding unconventional ways to be useless. After Himeno shares her and Aki's backstory with Denji, the devil reveals itself after keeping the hunters trapped for days. It demands Denji as food in exchange for everyone else's freedom. Denji plans to dive into its stomach and then just slash it until it lets them all go of its own free will. This has the added benefit of, if his plan doesn't work, he has still fulfilled the devil's request and everyone will get to go free. Lawful good.
This is my
My heart is my weakness.
Hurry up and kill me.
What? You're quitting already?
The fight between the Infinity Devil and Denji goes on for several days. Eventually, the devil becomes so exhausted from Denji's thorough tearing up of its guts that it begs for death. Also, fun fact, because the humans in the building were no longer afraid of it, his powers were considerably weakened, and he couldn't really fight back anymore anyway. Thanks to Denji, they succeeded in their mission and gain another piece of the Gun Devil. I'm gonna give him a second lawful good for this.
All right, well, I'm Denji, and I'm pretty sure I'm 16. As for hobbies, I like eating and naps.
Later in the week, Denji is invited to a get-together with a bunch of co-workers. This is just part of Himeno's plan to learn about Denji and why Makima is weirdly fond of him. During this get-together, Denji is caught in between wanting to get a kiss from her, but also not wanting to upset Makima. Unfortunately, Himeno's plan does not work out, but she does take Denji home with her.
Wanna do it?
This is definitely not okay, but fortunately nothing happened, and evidently a lot of people were freaked out about this scene, and once again, I do not care. This is fiction, and you're allowed to explore more messed up subjects here. I honestly really like this scene because it's one of the most messed up things in all the right ways. Let me explain. Both of these characters are facing a lot of inner conflict here. Denji really wants to experience what he missed out on if he had grown up as a healthy teenager, but realize that he wants his first experience to be with Makima, who has now taught him that emotional attachment is what makes this worth it. Himeno is going through her own problems as well, but despite all of this, has enough self-awareness to realize that what she is doing is messed up. Compound this with the scene from Makima earlier, and I'm gonna give this whole thing a nat 20 scene. There's a lot happening here, and it's one of my favorite reasons why anime like this exists. There's a lot of twisted emotion, and this is captured just kind of perfectly here, and I love it. True neutral for Denji.
I'll work my wing woman magic on you and Makima. And you help me lock down Aki.
The next morning, Himeno serves Denji breakfast, and they both agree to help each other hook up with the people that they actually want to be with. Denji with Makima, and Himeno with Aki. Since they're both making a deal for their own self-interest and to bond, weirdly we'll go with lawful good here, even though I'm a little surprised by my own take. If you think it's something else, please comment below.
Denji, you loved him as well, didn't you?
In episode 8, Denji, Aki, Power, and Himeno are enjoying a lunch at a ramen shop when the grandson of Denji's former Yakuza boss shoots him. This person turns out to be the Katana Man. He has a real name, but I honestly don't care. Aki uses the Curse Devil to kill him, but thanks to Akane's blood, this doesn't work. Himeno sacrifices herself to the Ghost Devil in exchange for it to slay the Katana Man, but Akane uses the Snake Devil to devour it. Katana Man bisects Denji and is about to be captured until he's saved by Kobeni and Makima. Despite the destruction of the noodle joint, the death of his new friend, and having to get saved, he is trying his best to defeat the Katana Man, which I'm still going to give him a neutral good for.
Here, I can be a nice guy too.
In the fallout from Katana Man's attack, Denji pays Aki a visit in the hospital. Denji isn't sure what to say to Aki to make him feel better, but it's still nice enough that he's trying. Neutral good.
Your arsenal, while impressive, was made entirely of blood weapons and left Power anemic.
After realizing the threat that Katana Man and his gang possess for everyone, Makima gets the most loony officer, Kishibe, to train Power and Denji. To complete this training, they basically need to kill him. Denji and Power, while still somewhat immortal, are both beaten senseless again and again. Since this is a sort of life or death training that they had to either put up with or quit, Denji gets a lawful neutral.
The police in Division 2 are charged with securing all exits at ground and basement levels. Special Division will enter the building and neutralize the terrorists.
In episode 11, Kishibe is confident in Power and Denji's training, and Special Forces 4 groups up to take down the Katana Man's gang. They find out where he's located and raid the building. Power and Denji get separated, but fortunately, the recent training pays off. Denji defeats Katana Man and spares his life, but not out of mercy.
I figured since he shot Himeno, we should get to take shots at him. It's only fair, yeah?
In order to avenge Himeno's death, he and Aki repeatedly and mercilessly kick Katana Man in his hilt and pommel for presumably several minutes. While an intense bro code violation, this was to avenge a comrade and to help Aki feel better. Plus, Katana Man will not suffer any permanent damage from this probably. Chaotic neutral. I've mentioned it in the intro and I'll bring it up here too, but a big part of the series is about fulfillment and growth. Denji begins the series as basically an animal, and much like I called Power a wild and untamed beast that's slowly being domesticated, Denji is basically an animal that slowly becomes a pet, especially to Makima, and then he eventually evolves into a person. We'll get to Makima someday, don't you worry, but at the beginning of the series, Denji was basically just fulfilling his physical needs. He needed food, water, and shelter and didn't have much aspirations outside of wanting to participate in reproduction, still at the bottom of the hierarchy of needs. After securing employment with Makima and feeling truly safe for the first time in his life, he quickly fulfills his safety needs, especially after becoming an ally with Power once he rescued her cat. His desires quickly became wanting love and belonging, advancing to the third tier of the hierarchy. Noticing how touching Power's chest was no longer satisfying to him, since he completely bypassed that stage of his hierarchy, he was now in the safety and security tier. Once he understood that love and belonging was what he needed, he began altering his goals and strategies to obtain those things. At the end of season 1, he went out of his way to capture Katana Man in order to give his roommate and the person he will soon see as a brother the closure that he clearly needs. There's a moment in the series where Denji believes that he wouldn't be sad if Power, Aki, or even if Makima die. And as a manga reader, I can tell you he's really wrong on that. Ooh, he's wrong. But again, that's for season 2. Chainsaw Man, while a funny and gory action show, is still smartly written in a way that fully understands how to write significant character growth in a short amount of time. It's very fun watching Denji become a better man, and despite where we left off and the impression that it caused on some people, Denji will be a good man by the end of the series, but hopefully I'll be able to talk about that more next year. For now, please enjoy the last panty and stocking video. You have a 50% shot on guessing which one will come out. You're allowed to cheat by checking my channel and checking out for yourself. You know, plug, plug, plug. Thank you to the patrons, and enjoy our Final Fate video on Christmas Day, and I'll see you all next time.